you often wonder why your pictures aren't coming out as well as professional photographers? It's probably not because you don't have the right equipment or their equipment's so much better. They know their equipment from inside and out. So they learned where the ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and all the different settings that they're going to use are. If you haven't taken the time to learn where they are, it's not going to work out for you. The three main things that you should learn on your DSLR camera or SLR camera is where your ISO is, aperture, and shutter speed. ISO measures your camera's sensitivity to light. Shutter speed is the amount of time that your shutter is open. So that little ch-ch sound you hear from your camera, that's your shutter speed. Aperture is how wide your lens is open. I know sometimes thinking of trying to remember them can be hard. So a way to remember is using a metaphor. ISO is like when you're wearing sunglasses. So when you're in the sun, you put your sunglasses on and there's no glare, you can see things are a little bit dimmer because you put something over your eyes. That's similar with your ISO. It's neutralizing the light or bringing it down in your camera's light sensor. I read a little while ago a great thing to use as a metaphor for shutter speed and aperture together. Because aperture is like how wide your camera lens is, or the opening in your camera lens. Think of a window. The bigger your window is, the more light that comes through. Well, if you put shutters on them, and you close the shutters, no light's getting through, so your shutter is closed. When you open them, light comes through. So depending on how quickly you open and close those shutters depends on how much light comes through. The longer they're open, the more light. The less time that they're open, less light. Lighting will always affect all three of these elements of the exposure triangle. Getting to know your camera and where those buttons are and playing with it in different settings will get you more comfortable and get those professional quality photos that you're looking for. So an example of playing with your aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. If you set your ISO to 12,800, that's a very high ISO, so you're letting a lot of light in. You're probably going to put your aperture around f-stop 3.5. Just say you put it there. That's also letting in a lot of light, because the bigger the aperture number or the f-stop number, the less light. The smaller it is, more light. So having those two set higher to let in more light, your shutter speed is going to need to be lower. Probably around 0.08 of a second, or maybe 250 probably to 800 or so. That'll give you a more natural looking picture. And you can also play with the aperture and ISO. If your shutter speed's too quick because you want to let in a little bit more light, you can adjust your settings. You can put it up a little bit higher because it'll let in a little more light, or you can drop it down. Try setting one of the elements to auto. That way you get to play with the other two and not have to worry about the one. That way you get used to it and you can ease your way into shooting full manual, especially if you're used to shooting in all auto. It's a good way to practice, and your pictures are going to come out a little bit better because you have control over them. The camera's not doing it for you anymore. Now it's your turn. I would love to see the pictures that you take practicing with your ISO, aperture, and shutter speeds in full manual. Post them on our Facebook page or Google+. Have a great day. See you next time on Life Frame by Frame.